In the world of Amazon's The Rings of Power, one character has captivated the audience's imagination with his enigmatic presence, the mysterious wizard known as the Stranger. Falling from the sky in a fiery meteor, this figure is revealed to be one of the Istari, the wizards sent to Middle-earth to combat the rising threat of Sauron. But who exactly is he? Many clues point toward the possibility that this wizard is none other than Gandalf the Grey. Let's dive into why that might be the case, explore some background on the Istari, and consider other possible identities for this intriguing character. First, let's talk about who the Istari are. The Istari, also known as the Wizards, are a group of 5 powerful beings sent to Middle-earth by the Valar, the godlike rulers of the world. These wizards were not just ordinary men, but Maiar, lesser spirits of great power who served the Valar. Their mission was to assist the free peoples of Middle-earth in their struggle against Sauron, who, like them, was also a Maiar, but one who had fallen into darkness. The Istari arrived in Middle-earth in the form of old men, deliberately chosen to appear wise yet humble, so they would guide rather than dominate. The most famous of these wizards are Gandalf the Grey, Saruman the White, and Radagast the Brown. The other two, known as the Blue Wizards, traveled into the east and south of Middle-earth and were largely left unexplored in Tolkien's writings. But why do many believe this mysterious wizard could be Gandalf? There are several compelling reasons. First, Gandalf is known for his deep connection with the peoples of Middle-earth, particularly the hobbits, who are the descendants of the Harfoots we see in the Rings of Power. Gandalf's affinity for the small, humble folk and his role as their protector could be a strong hint that the Stranger is indeed him. The scenes in the show where the Stranger interacts with the Harfoots, helping them and forming a bond with Nori, feel very much in line with what we know of Gandalf's character. Additionally, the Stranger's struggle with his powers and his uncertainty about his identity mirror Gandalf's early days in Middle-earth, where he had to learn to temper his immense power and use it wisely. We see the Stranger grappling with this, trying to control his magic while inadvertently causing harm, a theme that resonates with Gandalf's own journey of mastering his abilities while remaining a servant, not a tyrant. There's also the visual and thematic cues. The Stranger's arrival in a meteor recalls the dramatic, otherworldly nature of Gandalf's character. Gandalf, after all, is known for his spectacular entrances, whether it's his arrival at Bilbo's door in The Hobbit or his return as Gandalf the White in The Lord of the Rings. The Stranger's descent from the sky, combined with the imagery of fire and stars, evokes a sense of ancient power and wisdom, hallmarks of Gandalf's presence. However, there's a significant issue with this theory: the timeline. According to Tolkien's writings, Gandalf, known as Olorin in the West, did not arrive in Middle-earth until around the year 1000 of the Third Age, which is thousands of years after the events of the Rings of Power. This show is set in the Second Age, long before Gandalf was supposed to come to Middle-earth. But there's a possibility that the showrunners are taking creative liberties with the timeline, compressing events or reimagining certain aspects to fit the narrative they're crafting. While Gandalf seems the most likely candidate, there are other possibilities to consider. One alternative theory is that the Stranger could be one of the Blue Wizards, Alatar or Palando. The Blue Wizards, like Gandalf, are Maya, who came to Middle-earth to help guide its peoples against the forces of darkness. Tolkien mentioned that the Blue Wizards arrived in Middle-earth during the Second Age, which aligns perfectly with the setting of the Rings of Power. These two wizards are largely unexplored in Tolkien's work, giving the showrunners a blank slate to develop their stories. If the Stranger is one of the Blue Wizards, this could explain why he seems unfamiliar and disoriented. Perhaps he is still finding his way and understanding his purpose in Middle-earth. The Blue Wizards were said to have ventured far into the east and south of Middle-earth, regions that are mostly shrouded in mystery. It's possible that the Rings of Power could be exploring what these wizards did during their time in Middle-earth, perhaps focusing on their battles against Sauron's influence in these distant lands. If this is the case, the stranger's journey could take him far beyond the familiar territories of Middle-earth, opening up new stories and regions we've never seen before. Another intriguing possibility is that the stranger could be a twisted or corrupted version of an Istari, possibly even connected to Sauron in some way. While the stranger's confusion and moments of kindness suggest he's more likely to be a force for good, the history of Middle-earth is full of characters who fall from grace. Sauron, for instance, was once a servant of the Valar before he became the Dark Lord. He's known for his ability to deceive and manipulate, often appearing fair and trustworthy before revealing his true intentions. However, if the stranger were connected to Sauron, this would likely manifest in subtler, more insidious ways. The stranger's disorientation might be part of a deeper internal struggle between light and dark, echoing the potential for corruption that all the Istari face, much like Saruman's eventual downfall. This theory is more of a long shot, given the stranger's apparent benevolence, but it remains a possibility in a world where good and evil are often intertwined. Finally, there's the possibility that the stranger could be a completely new character, perhaps an original wizard created specifically for the show. While this might seem less likely given the rich lore Tolkien created, the introduction of a new wizard could allow the series to explore fresh narratives without being bound by existing expectations. This character could be a Maiar sent to Middle-earth for a unique mission, one that requires him to navigate a world where the lines between good and evil are not yet clearly drawn. This would give the showrunners a lot of creative freedom to tell a new story while still honoring the spirit of Tolkien's world. In conclusion, while the mysterious wizard in the Rings of Power could very well be Gandalf, the evidence is not conclusive. The showrunners might be reimagining the timeline to bring Gandalf into the story earlier than Tolkien's texts suggest, or they could be setting up a reveal for one of the lesser-known Blue Wizards, or even introducing an entirely new character. Whoever he may be, his journey is sure to have profound implications for the world of Middle-earth as we know it. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the identity of the stranger, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more explorations into the world of Tolkien, and leave a comment below with your own theories. Who do you think the stranger really is?